signs right here in Oxford. Every single year he picks up my sign and he changes the lettering for the date and the time. Picks up my sign, changes the lettering, and brings it back. And he does that every year, and he does that voluntarily. So I really appreciate that. That's a task that is very helpful. Dan and Pat Bonnet make sure each and every year, my very good friends, make sure that Santa arrives safely from the North Pole. So we appreciate their efforts in making sure he's well taken care of. My assistant, Wendy Clem, has been with me 20 years working together, and certainly a big thank you for her. She helps me with every aspect of the organizing of this charity and all the tasks that are involved. So a good thank you to her. Everyone that donates. Stephen Kelly from Kelstar Painting, he donated his time to help me hang all the banners that you see on the building and inside. So again, people give their time and their talents, and that's very well appreciated as well. Anybody have any questions at all? Pockets is comfortable.
Anybody have any questions? Oh, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank you again. I mean, we've been thanking you year after year after year, and it never gets tired for you.
No, it doesn't.
You do a wonderful job, and the community is very pleased to have someone like yourself takes a project like this upon a very important time of the year. So my personal thanks to you.
Mm-hmm. My pleasure. It doesn't get old for me at all, and because each and every year I hear stories of people that were helped with Toys for Tots, and it's very satisfying to know that that moment in time, that donation of toys, gave them an inspiration and hope and made their situation better. That's the whole idea of charity, is not to stay there, to get better and make your situation. You're on.
Being the hour of 7:02, we'll open the Selectmen's Meeting of December 18th. Before we get into the agenda, there are a couple of items I would like to call to everyone's attention regarding a moment of silence. We have a former employee, Edward W. Ricketts, who served as a town employee as a building inspector, who has recently passed away. And also, I'd like to also include in that moment of silence those who were victims of the Newtown massacre. And that's what it was. So please remember them in our prayers over this holiday season. Thank you. This is relatively a short agenda, and this is our last meeting before the new year. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing, and it's for a pole location request from Verizon, 2 poles on Millbury Road. I will read the public hearing notice into the record. Under the provisions of the general laws, Massachusetts, Chapter 166, and any additions or amendments thereto, please be advised that at their meeting of Tuesday, December 18th, at 7 p.m. in the Town Hall, 2nd floor meeting room, 325 Main Street, Oxford, Mass., the Oxford Board of Selectmen will consider a request to give Verizon New England, Inc. permission to place 2 new poles on Old Millbury Road on the southerly side, new pole number 14, approximately 105 feet east of the existing pole number 13. Then place a new pole, number 15, approximately 165 feet east of the proposed pole 14. If you have any questions, you can contact the Selectman's Office at 508-987-6027, Oxford Board of Selectmen. Do we have any comments from anyone? Yes, sir.
I'm from Verizon, if you want.
Yes, please, come forward.
Mr. Chairman, I would just to get this moving, I would so move to allow the 2 pole locations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. It's been moved in second, and we'll open it for discussion. Yes, sir.
The reason we're petitioning for these 2 poles, we have to provide Millbury service to a small section of Federal Hill Street. There's one little piece that is actually in Millbury, and the only way to reach that is to come through this section of Oxford. So we've already petitioned Millbury for the poles to to fill in that piece of road on their side, and then we needed 2 more on Old Millbury Road to reach the pole line. And we will bring cable from the Millbury Central Office right down through Old Millbury Street to reach Federal Hill Street.
There's a public hearing. Is there any comments?
I do have a question. I'm the owner of the property at 20 Old Millbury Road,
Yes.
where those poles are going to side.
Your name for the record,
My
please?
name's Heidi Thomas. I'm just kind of curious as to where's that going to fall at the end of my driveway? I already have enough problems at the end of my driveway, especially with water runoff. And there's only one drain at the end of my driveway, and wherever these poles are situated, if they have to cut down trees or anything, I might end up with more water problems at the end of my driveway and ice and everything else.
It was staked out there and a paint mark was on the road. I don't know. Saw
Is that after, is that after the drain that's there?
It's been too long since I've been there.
There's one drain, and water still goes over and above that drain.
Well, this is gonna be off the road, off the side of the road. We're not gonna be in the road actually, so.
Okay, so you're actually gonna come up onto my property, so you're gonna
Well-
well, not with the town property,
Right.
but you're gonna have to come up and over that, you're gonna have to knock down some trees up there?
When I looked at it many weeks now, it didn't appear that we're gonna be knocking down trees. That's why we kind of jumped back and forth on each side of the road coming down South Oxford Street and kept them on this side and then jumped across again.
There's no issues as long as I don't have any more water issues at
Yeah.
that end, because I get a lot of water issues at the end of my driveway where it goes so far out, not last year, but the year before when we had all that snow, all the runoff. It was thick. The town had to come out and they had to chip away at it, and they ended up chipping away at the end of my driveway. So now I have a huge lip that I have to keep filling in. So as long as there's no more issues down there, there wouldn't be a problem.
You know, this would just
Or-
be a pole in the ground, so we're not gonna be
Or
touching the
Or,
asphalt.
we have a boat that we have to turn up into the driveway. If that interferes with the boat, then I have issues.
Can we hold this until these questions have been answered?
Do we need to?
I mean, I guess I would make it contingent upon the satisfaction, a reasonable satisfaction of the homeowner, so it's not going to interfere with her access to her driveway. I mean, that would be a non-starter.
Could you also include,
And removal of
in
trees,
conjunction with our Department of Public Works?
in conjunction with the approvals of our Department of Public Works. We don't want to hold it up tonight, because then we
Hold it
won't
up.
be back here
Right,
for about a month, so.
We will vote on it, but you're going to have to work this out with the DPW
Okay.
and the homeowner. Okay? Any other questions, comments?
I have one, if I
Yes.
may. It says here in the drawing that you have to accompany the petition, that the petition is to extend the pole line on Old Millbury Road in order to provide FiOS for people in Millbury. When are we getting FiOS?
I don't know, that's not, I work in right of way, I don't do the,
Well, the people, you're going through Oxford with that cable. Will those people be allowed to?
that I don't know either. They can call the business office and see. We had to have a franchise agreement with Millbury. I think we gotta do that with each town in order to provide the service. I don't believe there's one with Oxford at the moment, so, I'm thinking they probably can't get it, but I can't say for certain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any other comments? There being none, could we have the amended motion put on the floor, please?
Yes, I would so move that we grant the request for the 2 pole locations contingent upon approval by the DPW and in conjunction with addressing any concerns of the homeowner, so as access is not blocked to her driveway and there aren't any additional runoff issues.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next item on the agenda is appointment to the Cable Advisory Committee. We have 4 individuals who have volunteered to be on the Cable Advisory Committee. They are Catherine A. Eljadidi, Eugene B. McKay, and Ann Mervica, and Howard R. Merson. Are they present? Okay, Mr. McKay, your name? Okay, name? Okay, Mr. McKay, and who else? Anyone else here? Howard's not here.
Still interested.
Okay, he's still interested. Okay, I will entertain a motion to appoint these four individuals to serve on the Cable Advisory Committee until the annual town election on May 20th, 2013.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, let the record show 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries. I'd like to thank you for volunteering to serve. As you know, the contract is coming up in 2013, so whatever help you can give us in ensuring that we get well represented in that contract, would certainly appreciate it. Thank you for serving.
Thank you.
What would be our next step? To meet?
To meet and organize.
And may I also ask why it's only through May of
Because we appoint through the election period. Most of our appointments go from election to election.
I see,
It's an annual.
It's an annual appointment.
I see. Because obviously, if we do the work and then there is no,
There'll be new appointment papers issued in May, and you'll have to be sworn in again for the following year.
Those papers tonight?
But I'll have to make
Pardon?
copies and mail them out to them.
do we have to be sworn in? Or
Yes.
Yes, you do. Town clerk's office.
town clerk's office?
Right. Our clerk will have appointment papers for you. You can pick them up in the selectman's office.
Or I'll mail them to you, whatever you like.
And then you take those papers to the town clerk's office and get sworn in. Any other questions?
Is there any work
No,
that's
that-
been done so far?
No, the committee is just forming.
Okay, but I assumed that maybe the town had done some work prior to the committee.
No.
No.
The
Well,
town
we
manager can
have,
address that.
we have had, we've had 2 sessions of the ascertainment hearings. I'll get you that information.
Is there an RFP?
Yes,
Has it been sent out?
yes, it's been sent to them,
To one party?
to Charter. They're wishing to renew their license. This is a renewal rather than an RFP for a new, unless somebody were to buy up Charter, it's not likely. I mean, you saw the Vios guy, they don't have it, nobody has money to put up new cable.
Mr. Vos?
I recommend that, Joe, you get together with these folks
Yeah,
sometime and
once they're
then-
organized, yes.
have a meeting and sit down and see where you are, and absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. So as soon as you're sworn in, you can contact the manager's office, and he'll be more than happy to meet with you. Any other questions? Okay, there being none?
Who are interested outside? So we could coordinate a little.
If you want to get together up in the break room in the back there, feel free to do so. Okay, managers report.
Thank you.
Wait a minute, you got a question, Karen?
The board was going to take a vote tonight. I put the.
Yes. I'll do that after the manager's report. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Manager's report for December 18th. Request the board vote to approve the meeting minutes of September 25th. All were present. Pleasure of the board.
Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. 4 in the affirmative, motion, 1 absent, motion carries.
We have, it's- again, here, it's the cycle of life. Assuming the world does not end on December 21st, we will have an annual town meeting next May. We need to set the date. Once again, it's time to set the date for annual town meeting in May. The charter requires that the annual town meeting be held in the first week of May. As you know, the town clerk has issued some timeframes for this. The first full week in May would be, and since you usually have the town meeting on Wednesday, the first full week of May would have Wednesday, May 8th. There is, the first Wednesday of the month is May 1st, but the town clerk is recommending May 8th as being in the first full week. Pleasure of the board to schedule the town meeting for May 8th at 7 p.m. in the Oxford High School.
I would entertain a motion to set the date as May 8th at 7 p.m. in the Oxford High School.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent.
Now, with the date of the annual town meeting is May 8th, then the board needs to vote to set the opening and closing of the warrant. The board may choose to, a date to open the warrant, any date is suitable. Closing date has to be 36 days before town meeting. Suggest to open the warrant immediately and ask that the board vote to set the closing date, which is 36 days before May 8th, as April 2nd, Tuesday, April 2nd at 4:30 p.m. Pleasure of the board.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we open up the warrant immediately and close it on Tuesday, April 2nd at 4:30.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, discussion. There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries.
Now, with that done, the warrant will be posted on May 1st, the week before town meeting, 7 days. The last day for voter registration for the town meeting will be April 18th. Residents need to know that you have until April 18th to register. There's no party affiliation required. You just need to get there and register to vote, or else you will not be allowed to participate in the May 8th town meeting. April 18th is that date. This part is not needed. Stop sign request. The board's received a request for a stop sign to be installed on Walnut Street where Cypress Street crosses Walnut. Police Chief Hassett has responded with an evaluation. He indicates that patrols have been placed in the vicinity to observe traffic, especially during morning and afternoon hours of school, bus pickup and drop-off. The approximate average speed was 30 miles per hour or less. There also doesn't seem to be any visibility problems in this location, and since 2008, there's only been one accident at this location for a stop sign violation. Pleasure of the board. If the board wants to consider the placement of a stop sign, we'd need to schedule a public hearing. Pleasure of the board.
Entertain a motion.
I'm going to make the motion that we do not go forward with this request.
Here we have a
Second.
motion that's been moved and seconded. Discussion.
The reason for my point is that I drive down there all the time, and there are only 2 other streets, Oak and I can't remember the other street, a little farther ways down. We already, what is it? No, not yet. Yeah. We already have 2 stop signs, 4-way stops on that area. I just think it's, pushing it a little bit too far. I don't really see the necessity, and since we got the report from the chief, I'm going to go along with the chief's kind of report that it's really not needed. So that's my opinion.
Mr. Bose.
What were the reasons given for the request?
Let me check.
Is the proponent here? No, there's no one here.
Cars, it's for speed control, which is what the chief addressed. The requester said, "I would like to request a new stop sign be installed on Walnut Street where Cypress Street crosses. Cars drive too fast on Walnut Street, especially past the many young children waiting at this corner for the school bus," which is why the chief scheduled his observations during the,
I believe there's a stop sign on Cypress Street right there.
Correct.
So
Correct.
if we have a stop sign, I mean, do we really need a four-way stop sign at that one? I tend to agree with Dennis on this. I don't think it's needed, but
Any other comments?
I would just say, Mr. Chairman, at this point, I mean, given the person, did the person leave their name? Have they cited any specific incidents? And if it's that important, I would request that they come in and give us substantiate some examples of why they think it's needed. I mean, we've addressed these in the past. We have entertained them. I know that there have been people who have come in, and they've come in with diagrams, and they've persuaded this body that stop signs were needed, and we've always entertained that and taken it very, very seriously from a public safety standpoint. But when the person doesn't show up and there's no evidence really, and we have an opposing opinion from the chief that it's not necessary, I'd be inclined to vote no, but I would rather just hold it and give the individual an opportunity to come forward. If it's warranted, then show us how. Otherwise, I don't think we should just be putting up signs based upon requests of this nature without any substantiation.
Casey, I tend to agree with you. We've done this in the past. We've at least asked the proponent to come in, and when we have in the past, neighbors, immediate abutters to that area were notified, and they came in and expressed their opinions, and I think they should be given the opportunity to do it. Just because we have the police chief's recommendation that we not put one up, doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do or not to do. If you will recall, I think one of the most recent stop signs that we put up, the chief was opposed to it, but the board went ahead and put it up anyway, and that was on Quabog Ave. So if the neighbors feel strongly about it and can persuade the board that it is a safety issue, the board could act accordingly at that time. And so I would ask that we hold this for at least an opportunity for these people to be notified and come in.
I'll agree. I'll take my motion
Take
off.
Motion back?
Yep.
Second? Okay.
Thank you.
So we will schedule this for
A hearing?
a meeting,
a hearing.
a hearing in January, and ask that the public works,
And public safety will come.
public safety be present.
When, Karen? You have scheduled the 15th and the 29th?
Actually, the 15th is rather full. Maybe we should do the 29th.
January 20th, that'll give us time to advertise as well,
Now,
Mr.
our next
Chairman.
meeting is when, the 8th?
The 15th,
15th? I thought we met on the 8th.
no. The 15th and the 29th. Because the 21st is a holiday.
Oh, okay, so
Holiday.
we're just extending the 3 weeks
Right.
before as opposed to after. That's fine.
We could put it on the 29th if you'd like.
Fine. Is that agreeable with the board?
Fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Fine with me.
You wanted, all right, so that's, we're going to have a hearing.
Yes.
All right.
29th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Keno license. The board's received a letter from the Massachusetts State Lottery Commission that they will be sending an application and agreement to sell the Keno To Go product to Biz Mini Mart at 425 Main Street. If the board objects to Biz Mini Mart selling Keno To Go, the board will have 21 days from receipt of the Lottery Commission's letter to state the objection in writing. That deadline then is December 21st. If you'd have no problem with the license being granted, you just do nothing. Pleasure of the board.
That a motion?
So moved.
Second.
To
Moved and
do-
seconded?
I guess
To do nothing?
Do nothing.
Okay.
Is that an oxymoron?
Yes.
I'm not saying anything.
We're all morons. Politicians are all morons.
Yeah, we have to be in public service.
Yeah.
Definitely something.
Okay, so we have a motion that's been moved and seconded
To do nothing.
to do
Do
nothing.
nothing.
You don't usually have to vote to have a politician do nothing.
Usually automatic, right?
Yeah. Okay, we'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. 4 in the affirmative, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Very good. Rocky Hill Road Pit, update on that. Winter's coming, and we've been notified by DPW Director Sean Dival that the Rocky Hill Road Pit will be closed for the winter on Saturdays. It will, however, be remaining open Monday through Friday, days that we're working, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., weather permitting. Also from DPW Director Dival, that the Christmas tree drop-off, now, I'm doing this now because we're not meeting again until January 15th, but after Christmas, folks need to get rid of the trees if they have a real tree. And we will be accepting trees at the DPW garage at 34 Charlton Street on Saturdays, January 5th and January 12th, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's at the DPW garage at 34 Charlton Street at the intersection of Rawson Avenue. That's for the Christmas tree drop-off. And I think finally, Christmas tree drop-off, I did that. This is for your information only. The board doesn't need to take action, I don't believe. The ABCC, Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, has found Oxco Incorporated, DBA Centerfolds 2000 in violation of 204 CMR 2.052, permitting an illegality on the licensed premises, to wit 26 USC, Section 5301, refilling of liquor bottles and place in any liquor bottle any distilled spirits whatsoever other than those contained in such bottle at the time of tax determination on the provision of that chapter. The commission suspends the licensee's license for a total of 6 days to be served. The suspension will commence on Wednesday, January 23rd, and terminate on Monday at January 28th. The license will be delivered to the local licensing board, that's us, or its designee, on Wednesday, January 23rd at 9 a.m. And then it'll be returned to them Tuesday, January 29th. The commission may be petitioned by the license holder requesting they accept an offer of compromise in lieu of suspension within 20 calendar days following the notice. They have that notice, and I believe it was sent out December 10th. Now, I say you don't have to do anything because your policy on liquor license violations has to do with the sale of alcohol to minors and over-serving of adult patrons, as well as closing time violations. This is a violation of law and regulation that the ABCC enforces. And that ends my report for, yes, that ends my report for December 18th. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Mr. Manager. And in the follow-up to that, even though we do not have a policy in that regard, this is a complaint that was filed by the Alcohol Control Commission. It doesn't dismiss the fact that this board is very concerned about what has transpired up there. And I would like to ask the board to send a letter to the license holder expressing our dismay about how they are running a business up there, because that is not proper business procedure at all. When you charge somebody for alcohol that they think they're paying for and getting a lesser grade, that's deception at its height. And that should not happen with any business in the town of Oxford. I'm embarrassed to say that we have a business that would cheat patrons like that. And I think we have an obligation as a licensing authority to let them know how we feel about this. And I would accept any comments of any board member in regard to this issue.
I'll second that. I agree with you thoroughly. When I read that, I just couldn't believe that in this day and age, you have to stoop to such levels. I don't know. Maybe I live in a different world, I guess, but, but it's just ludicrous.
John, is this a matter of them taking, because I know that in a bar, the bottles of booze they're taxed differently than what you say you get at Oxford Package Store. Is this a matter of someone going to Oxford Package Store and taking that, any package, I shouldn't say Oxford Package Store, a package store, and taking that bottle and refilling into those specially taxed bottles? Because I know there's a premium on alcohol sold to bars, so I don't know if they were doing that or they were in fact putting a lower grade alcohol in there.
Well, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to read the background information from the ABCC, but it would lead one to appear that that's what they were doing. And they checked the receipts. This is all public information, so if anybody wants to look at this, please do. It's available here in the town hall. It appears as though they also did an audit of their sales slips to check to see what was purchased against what was sold. So it gets pretty in-depth, so I don't want to misspeak here.
All right, okay.
So if anyone has a question, the documentation is available.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask that, in light of the violation, that we ask the license holder to come in and explain to us exactly what happened. I think that we should go a little bit one step beyond a letter. It's we are the licensing authority here in this community. I mean, I know we've got the ABCC and they do their job too, but we're the ones putting our names on these licenses, and I think that we should have them in and ask them exactly what happened, and if we're not satisfied, we may want to do something more than a letter. I mean, because I don't think it's a double jeopardy situation where if we ask them to come in and it's, particularly egregious, worse than what we're reading on paper, and we take action against their license. I think it's completely appropriate if they've abused the license that has our name on it.
I don't know, Jen. I have mixed feelings on that. I think if we ask them to come in, which is fine if that's what the board wants to do, but I think also a representative of the ABC should be here to defend their side as well, because we can be hearing one story from the licensee and not getting the true facts from the ABCC.
I mean, that's fine. I have no objection inviting them in. I don't know if anybody would show up from the ABCC. My point wouldn't be to undermine the ABCC's decision, more so to just have the license holder come in and tell the board what happened and how it's not going to happen again. And I mean, obviously they've done wrong. So, I have no problem in extending an invitation to the ABCC. I'm satisfied with their investigation. I just want to hear from the license holder. I'd like to have them come in and tell us how this could happen and what they're going to do to prevent it in the future.
What corrective actions that
Sure.
they've taken? Fine. Okay, there's a motion on the floor to invite them in to explain what has happened and what their corrective action plan is going to be, so that this will not happen in the future.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Well,
Mr. Lamarche?
yes, can't we by asking them in, also state in that letter that we are very disappointed and,
Well, that was the point of the first motion.
Combine it all
Sure.
together?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, and I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion is 4 in the affirmative, 1 absent, motion carries. Okay, the other thing we have with unfinished business is, if you recall at the last meeting, we discussed Access Oxford. There was a meeting, and Selectman Vos and myself did attend that meeting with the town manager, our MIS representative, our consultant, as well as members of Access Oxford. We met at Access Oxford. I found that meeting to be very productive. It was quite exact as to what the board was looking for, and everyone there knew that the Board of Selectmen does not want to be in the broadcasting business. We have enough to worry about besides broadcasting, education, public access, and government channels. So the total control, as the board has suggested, go to Access Oxford. They have come up with a schedule as to what they're going to do. I know that they have had correspondence back and forth with our consultant, agreeing on equipment, what types of equipment should be used. A lot of the equipment that Access Oxford has purchased and is available at their location appears to be acceptable by the consultant with some minor changes. The town manager, the consultant, and Access Oxford appear to be working well together. A schedule has been put together by Oxford Access as requested. They're looking at December 14th was their preliminary inspection of the town hall meeting room and closet, which is over here. That has been done. The week of 12/17 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Anticipated start date for building out of the closet and installation of cables for cameras and microphones. The week of 12/24 obviously is a holiday week, so they go to week 12/31, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. They will pull necessary cables for installation of the microphones. Week 1/7/13 from 9 to 4, completion of the closet build-out. Week 1/14 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., installation of equipment. Week 1/21, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., continue installation of equipment. Week 1/28, training for Access Oxford staff on how to use equipment on location. And week 2/4/13, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a walkthrough and demonstration. Everything appears to be on target. The only unfinished business we have is to take a vote this evening. And what was discussed at the last meeting was we wanted to get a schedule. We wanted to have our consultant meet with Access Oxford, town manager, to come up with a progress plan, and that appears to have been done. Whatever information we've got, each selectman has got in their packet. I would suggest that we complete the vote that we took and was pending, was that we would vote to give Access Oxford a 6-month period of time once everything was up and running to ensure that this was going to be able to go through without any hitch. And if you couldn't do it, we were going to pull back on it. So with that being said, I would entertain a motion that 6-month period begin upon completion, which is estimated to be on 2/4/13.
So move.
We have a motion that's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Mr. Manager?
I'm all set.
Access Oxford?
If you have questions for us, we're happy.
Very good. There being no discussion, I'll call for the vote.
Abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 3 in the affirmative, 1 abstention, 1 absent. Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Selectmen's request, Mr. Lamarche?
I have nothing except to wish everyone in our greater area a very Merry Christmas and a very happy and healthy, prosperous New Year. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Dennis.
Mr. Bose?
Sure. This past Friday, I believe it was Friday, the terrible tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, and I don't think we could possibly go through this meeting without talking about it. I mean, best way to describe it is a sad act of cowardness, I guess. I've talked to some parents in the community. I'm always around them in the donut shop every morning. I've talked to some parents, and they express some concern, as any parent would. Very disturbing what happened, and you send your children off to school, and you always want to make sure they're as safe as possible. I did talk with School Superintendent Alan Himmelberger, and I spoke with our Chief of Police, Michael Hassett, and they both assured me that they're both doing everything within their power to make sure our children are safe when they go to school. Now, there's an understanding that, you can't guard against everything, but anything we can do as a town to make sure our children are safe, we're certainly doing that. Other than that, I would just like to wish all the board members, the town employees, people at home, a very Merry Christmas. Man, it's been a great year. Thank you very much.
Casey?
Thank you. And just very briefly, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy, healthy, safe New Year. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Well, I would also like to echo my holiday feelings, and I want to say that it's been a good year in some respects, but when we ended on the tragic note that we ended it on, what happened in Connecticut, it kind of puts a sour note to the holidays, and that's unfortunate, because Newtown can be any town, USA, including Oxford. And I think this one hit really close to home, not only with the people of Newtown, but every town in USA. And I think it's time that we sit back, think about what we can do as citizens of this great nation to stop this, to stop the unnecessary killings that go on in this country, and to have more of a respect for a very serious illness, mental illness. I don't think we pay enough attention to that. When someone gets a heart attack or someone has cancer or what have you, we're right there to do something about it. But when someone has a mental illness, it just seems as though it's something that's blackballed, something that doesn't get the attention that it should get. And I think the time has come where we've got to spend more attention on looking at these issues and looking at them real hard, because in the end, someone is going to seriously get hurt. And on that sad note, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday. We won't see you until next year. We hope that your holiday season is filled with joy and healthy, and happy holiday to all of you. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Woods Insurance Agency at 508-755-5944.